Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
So for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Time!
Three on the way. Oh! It went in! It went in! And Indiana wins the ball game!
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni!
Float game for the win! Taylor's gone. Come on, touchdown, Indy! Woo! IU! America! They got a football team now!
It's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
Now, here's Jim Coyle.
Are you ready to start your week, everybody? I hope so. Welcome aboard. Hell, how are you doing? Jim Coyle, as always, with you here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio, as we'll get your week off to a good start and recapsulize what happened over the weekend. Another big winning weekend for Indiana and lots of others as the Hoosiers knock off UCLA. They win on the basketball court, and the Colts win as well. To keep things rolling, looking forward to another fun day. Don Fischer will join us here shortly, and we'll recap everything that happened over the weekend for Indiana football as they beat UCLA handily on a day that the offense was just average, I would call the average on what it did, but still the stats that they were able to put up astonishing. And that's because this is an elite team and they just do things. Everything they do is at a high level. So yeah, Jonathan Taylor rolling on, man, for the Colts. What a year. Tiptoed through the Titans. That's funny. But yeah, the Colts are just who's having a bigger year? The Hoosiers or the Colts? Seriously. Indiana is probably the number one team in college football if we're being completely serious. Are the Colts the best team in the NFL? Very possible. Don Fischer joins us now. Don, how are you, sir? How was your weekend?
Hold on a second. I got to put my headsets on there.
Oh, no worries. No worries. I was just talking about what an incredible year it has been for not only the Indiana Hoosiers, the Indiana Colts. I wonder, I think that without bias, I think Indiana is the number one team in the country and college. And I think the Colts might be the best team in the NFL. And that's not hyperbole. That's legit. And in the state of Indiana, Don, this is not exactly a football bastion. You think of Texas and Ohio and Florida and all that for Florida, right, or football rather. But hey, baby, Indiana has now become a football state.
Well, it has through the years, obviously, with the Indianapolis Colts, the success they had back in the Peyton Manning days, and even with Andrew Luck, but it kind of went away again for a while, and of course we haven't had Indiana. We've had, it's interesting. It goes in cycles, if you know what I'm saying, especially in the NFL because of the parity there. If you find the right guy and the right formula and that kind of thing, and the next thing you know, you've got a pretty good football team. And I give credit to the Colts. That's one of the things that's happened here this year. They've found the right quarterback. They've got really good receivers. They've got a very good offensive line. They've got a running back that is as good as anybody in the country, in Jonathan Taylor. They've got those kinds of tools. I'm still questioning a little bit the defensive side of the football, but I know they've got a lot of injuries on that side as well. So you could make the argument right now that the Colts are playing as good as anybody in the NFL at this point. I don't think that they're the best team in the NFL at this juncture because they've got to prove that. So, and that's the same thing with a lot of people in regard to Indiana, except that we've seen Curt Cignetti and what he did a year ago and now what he's doing this year. And we know this team is on a roll and they are that good based on what we've seen so far. So I'm excited about it. I love what I saw from the Indiana Pacers the other night. The fact that they played the best team in the league, the team that won the national championship a year ago in the NBA. And they played their butts off with 3 or 4 guys that were hurt. Nembhard got hurt in the game, didn't play the second half, and they still gave them a tussle to go to double overtime in that matchup before they fell. So right now we're seeing a lot of really good things happening in the state of Indiana from a sports perspective.
Yeah, and it's incredible, but nothing more incredible than what we're seeing at Merchants Bank Field at Memorial Stadium right now as the Indiana football team continues to roll through college football. And as I said before Don joined us, this is not bias. I truly believe Indiana is the number 1 team in the country because of what they do on both sides of the ball, how good they are on both sides of the ball, how consistent they are on both sides of the ball. It's just been amazing. They've lost a couple of guys and still been able to maintain the level of play, playing to that standard, Don. And so that is the sign of a true program that you can withstand some adversity and still maintain. Now there's games to go. I get that, a lot to go. But as of right now, it's as good as it could get for Indiana, for anybody that anybody would want. We see coaches being fired all over the country, Don, from some major programs, and Indiana is rolling.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And it's the most fun I've had in a long time calling games. There's no doubt about that. And Saturday was just another example of that. And to your point, you lose a player like Aiden Fischer in the first half of that ball game. Of course, Aiden came up with the interception 2 plays into it to score a touchdown on an interception. But to not have him in there for 3/4 of that football game and not really miss a beat, that's pretty impressive. Because remember when Micah McFadden got tossed out of that ball game when they were playing Cincinnati a few years ago, and Indiana didn't do anything after that. So and Aiden Fischer arguably is one of the most important people, if not the most important person, definitely on the defense, but maybe for this football team from a leadership standpoint, to have him go out and then for Indiana to continue to roll. I thought that was very impressive because Aiden Fischer is such a critical factor for Curt Cignetti and the Indiana program.
Absolutely. He is the Fernando Mendoza and then some on that side of the ball. But for the team, he's been around. So he is the guy that basically everybody looks to. And so it's just awesome to see what he has done, how he has done it, and how he continues. I saw him coming off the field. He looked okay. Hopefully that it was just precautionary, and that'll be fine as they move forward. And yesterday, Don, the offense, it seemed to me it was just a day that it was just okay. Which I say that and laugh at the same time for obvious reasons. But you know what I'm saying? We were used to this offense being, and it was like, it was okay. And they're still just dominant. It's amazing to watch this offense.
Yeah, they had 475 yards of offense. So
yeah, that's all.
And Mendoza, of course, had just an okay game, I guess.
Yeah,
to the standards that he started to build up. So, I understand where you're coming from with that. It was not a dramatically phenomenal win, but you put 56 on the scoreboard against a team that came in red hot. Everybody knew that UCLA had beaten Penn State. They had won 3 straight ball games. They beat Michigan State at Michigan State by the same score that Indiana beat Michigan State in Bloomington. So you just expected that this was going to be a little bit more of a tussle than it was, and it wasn't much of a tussle at all. In fact, after the interception, I think already UCLA was beat. It was just my thinking process on it, because when you get a play like that to start a ball game, and then you can't come back and counter it in the first series or two after that, that tells you right there that things aren't going your way for the rest of that contest. And Indiana just made it look so normal. It was just a normal football game for an Indiana football team that can be spectacular at times.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was spectacular while it looked like an average day. And that's but going with that, Indiana becomes only the third team ever to win by 50 points twice in the conference season, joining Ohio State and Michigan, and they could do that yet again. They're not done. I mean, who knows what happens at Michigan or against Wisconsin, although Wisconsin went out to Oregon, and I don't know if Oregon it's so funny, man. You lose when you lose, that effect has a carryover effect. We've seen that. Oregon didn't play great at home against Wisconsin over the weekend, but we'll see how that continues. The offense is just looking completely running on all cylinders now, Don. They are just hitting the running game, the passing game. It's just pick your poison.
Right. There's no doubt. It's such a balanced offense. That's the other thing. You don't know. You've got so many areas that you've got to shore up if you're going to beat Indiana from a defensive standpoint. And right now, this team is on such a roll that, again, Saturday looked a little average, from the standpoint of spectacular. So my point is simply this. This is a football program. They do not get ahead of themselves. They have not done that. Curt Cignetti's the best I've ever seen at getting his guys grounded right after a win. Literally, they go 24 hours and then it's back to work, and it's back to not a grind even, because that's the other thing I think Curt Cignetti does that's phenomenal. He does not grind his players down. They have short, intense practices that have no nonsense involved. They get the reps in and the things that they have to do in that particular day, and then they go and do their thing from an academic standpoint or social standpoint, whatever the case may be for these players. And I just think it's such an incredibly well-run football program now. I've never seen anything like it myself, or been a part of anything like that. And I can only say remarkable is the best term I can use, because we've not seen this at any place at Indiana before in all the years I've been there. So that's where I come from.
It is a well-oiled machine. If it was a business, every division would be operating at its highest level. There's no doubt about that. You have in Mike Shanahan and Brian Haynes, two of the best coordinators in the country, and you can just hope that you can hold on to them for as long as possible. For that's part of why you're seeing what you're seeing. But every division, I mean, Curt Cignetti is like the ultimate CEO. He truly is. He is running this business. Each division is doing what they're supposed to do. You're getting profitability from each division, and it's incredible to watch. It truly is, to be able to watch someone manage everything so well as Curt Cignetti is doing. And this program is legitimately a national championship threat, Don. How about them? How about them apples?
Yeah, well, it's true. I mean, the results speak for themselves, and they're now the number 2 ranked team in the country for the second or third week in a row. And I've never looked at rankings as being the real criteria, but I can tell you this: it's fun to be ranked that high. It's fun to be a part of a team that's doing this well. And without question, from an Indiana fan standpoint, the only negative thing I can say about Indiana football right now is our fan base still doesn't quite get that a great football program and the big boys, the Penn States, the Michigans, the Ohio States, those kinds of programs in the Big Ten, and then the Alabamas and all these other schools that have got great football tradition. We still don't have that in Indiana yet, because it's been such a tough go for our fan base through so many years of ups and downs, and more downs than ups. And you want to see, here's what I want to see. I want to see our fans not leave at halftime. And I know we're better at that than we've ever been. There's no question about that, or not maybe ever, but certainly here in recent years. The fan base is hanging in there, but they don't stay till the end of the ball game. Why would you not want to do that when your team has just kicked the snot out of a team that you beat 56-6? And why would you not want to celebrate those players and what they were able to accomplish that day? I'm talking about everybody. And I'm talking about the students just as well as the normal fans. I still think that area is the one area where Indiana football is not where it needs to be yet. And I know that sounds like I'm being down on the fan base. I'm not being down on the fan base. I'm simply saying we still don't understand that you have to stay. Every ball game, you stay till the end and you salute your team for what they were able to accomplish that particular day. If you do that, then we're back to an Indiana football program that could say we're with the big boys.
Yeah, I think they may have to end the pass outs deal that are currently allowed for Indiana fans, because that encourages them to go out. And then when you get out, you may get a little comfortable and not come back in. And also, I've noticed the students, a big patch of the student section empties out as well. So they're not staying. So we got to get the students staying. Don, I noticed 11 first place votes for Indiana as well in this week's AP poll, man. So a lot more people think Indiana is the best team in the country.
No question. And they are the best team in the country right now. Listen to Buck, my color analyst, Buck Sur, will tell you that.
Hey, I agree with Buck. I'd like one of these days we're going to get Buck on and talk about it.
Good luck on that one.
Yeah, I know. Trust me. I know. Hey, that is the challenge that I have, and I look forward to that challenge. There's some changes coming up soon, so I'll wait till they happen. But I think that that may help stuff. Don, the basketball team also got a win. I know you got to run here in a minute. So the basketball team also gets a win against someone not named Indiana. We've seen him play these exhibition games, but it was good to see him get out. Trent Sisley, Trent is going to make a run at Big Ten Freshman of the Year. I'm pretty confident.
Well, he didn't do much yesterday. And again, the competition was a great deal better than it has been. But I agree with you. I think Trent's going to be a terrific player in Indiana. But he's going through the process of learning what it's all about, what he has to do to get better, those kinds of things. I like him a lot. I just like this team. I like the way Darren DeWitt constructed it, and I like the fight that they have. That's the biggest thing about this ball club that I think is their biggest asset. They just do not know how to quit, and they just plug away until they get the ball game in their favor, and they did that again yesterday against a really good Baylor ball club.
Absolutely. Don, you can catch him this Thursday for Inside Indiana Football with Coach Kurt Signetti at Hoosier Hanks, 1285 South College Mall Road. I think I've got it all memorized, man.
You got it.
I'm almost like Don Fischer. Holy cow. Never. Just kidding. Appreciate you, sir. I hope you have a great rest of your week. We'll probably see you at the presser later.
Sounds good. See you. Bye.
Thank you. Don Fischer joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Greg Rakestraw is next. Stick around. We're coming back right after these messages. Andy Moore Honda is Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer for a reason. Buy a new Honda and get a 3-month break from car payments. That's right. No payments for 90 days. That includes the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue, and you get it for just 0.9% financing, or the 2024 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition, or the Honda Accord LX, both for just 1.9% financing. Get more to your door from AndyMooreHonda.com.
Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer and your best place for new and used vehicles. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemoreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Huddle up, football fans. Tailgate season is here, and nobody gets you ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need, from grills to jerseys and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. With 8 Academy stores across Indiana, including our Bloomington location, fun can't lose, and neither can you. Gear up today at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage, and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Monday. I hope you had a great weekend of sports action, because there was plenty of it. Greg Rakestraw was knee-deep in most of it as well with high school and the Colts. How are you, sir?
I'm great, my friend. How are you?
If I was any better, I'd be Greg Rakestraw, man. I just wish that I could be someone as special as any of my guests. They're always the great ones. That's why I have them on, to cover up my my moles and my warts and all of that. We still got you? Nope, we lost him. Scared him off. He'll be back with us here in just a second. Indiana sitting #2 in the latest AP poll, as Don Fischer said. Ohio State still #1 on an idle weekend. Greg Rakestraw back with us now. Greg, how are you, brother?
I'm doing good. You could hear me. I was struggling to hear you. So I thought, you know what? Let me hit the eject button early in the conversation, see if we can reset this. But now I can hear your melodious tones much better. So hope that's okay.
Always a wise move. Busy weekend for everyone. I know it was for you with high school and the Colts. Just so much going on, and a lot of positivity, man. A lot of winning in the state of Indiana right now. With even though the Pacers lost, they gave a great effort. Surprising in that loss to Oklahoma City the other night. The Colts continue to win. Indiana football continues to win. It's just been a fun football time for Indiana, but just a fun time in sports all the way around right now for the state.
Saturdays and Sundays are pretty special these days, given how things are playing out now. On the Pacers front, the injury situation is getting to be pretty dire, at this point. When, Tyrese Halliburton, you're not going to have him for the season. Like, all right, well, Andrew Nembhard, T.J. McConnell, Benedict Mathurin, you can try to replace him in the aggregate. Well, none of those 3 dudes are healthy right now. You lose T.J. in the first preseason game. You lose Nembhard in the first regular season game. Mathurin gets hurt in game #2. There are 18 players that are under contract right now for the Indiana Pacers. 9 of them are in the injury report. What the Fever were able to do to be competitive without Caitlin Clark and so many other injuries was spectacular. But at the same time, in theory, they had their second and third best players healthy and play the entire season, were both great in terms of Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell. That's not the case for the Pacers. It's Pascal Siakam, Aaron Nesmith, and your name is? That's kind of what they got going right now. I thought it was very fitting that the tweet, that the graphic the Pacers social media people put out at the end of last night's game was Ben Shepherd, Ray J. Dennis, and Quentin Jackson. And my best guess would be is that most Pacers fans could pick out Ben Shepherd, but wouldn't know who the other 2 dudes are. That's kind of a sign where the Pacers are. So they're battling, they're scrapping, But there's a certain tipping point where there's not much you can do from an injury standpoint, and that's kind of where the Pacers are right now. But from an attention standpoint, the Indiana Hoosiers are so good, and the Indianapolis Colts are so good, we can just live in that world and be perfectly fine right now.
And that's no joke, because I know that people would say, oh, he's biased. This is not. This is true. I try to be as unbiased as possible when I talk about things. And I think Indiana is the number one team in the country, although at the end of the day, I also say I don't know that most of the time you can determine a number one team, because that stuff kind of changes a little bit week by week. But I think that if you really looked at both sides of the ball, Indiana's a little bit better than Ohio State. But I also think the Colts are probably the best team in the NFL right now. And that's the only reason I say this is because of this crazy quasi argument that Indiana is the top football state in the nation at the moment.
Correct. And frankly, it's not completely apples to apples, but it is on one side of the ball. All right. What Kurt Cignetti's team and frankly what Shane Steichen's team can both do is just bludgeon you if they have to. If all else fails, you can go back to square one and basically tell the defense, we're going to hand the ball to this guy back here and you can't stop it. Indiana just mauls people on both the offensive and defensive lines. The Colts aren't doing that defensively. Now, they're great against the run. Maybe great's too strong. They're pretty good against the run. Where the Colts struggle a little bit is in terms of pass coverage. And again, you can explain that given it's not a Pacers level of injuries, but it's close in terms of what the Colts have kind of gone through.
Yes, and we lost Greg again as he is traveling at the moment. But look, I'm looking at the AP poll right now for college football. Ohio State sits number one. There he goes. He's back already. He's quick. You're quick, man. You get back quickly.
Well, the thing is that while you can't see me on camera, I can see you, and I see my phone flash, and I go, well, this is what I get for trying to do this while driving through the wilds of southern Indiana. So not always is the cell service the best. Say I'm between Scottsburg and Henryville, so you know exactly the road that I am traveling down on I-65.
Welcome to nowhere.
So let's put it this way. Indiana has avoided the same blip that my call just had with you. The Colts have maybe a couple more flaws than Indiana does, but at the end of the day, when you feel you can be dominant on the line of scrimmage and dominant in the run game, those skills tend to translate regardless of whomever you might be playing.
Absolutely. And right now the Colts have it going on. Are we talking Super Bowl year here? I mean,
yes.
I know that there's a lot of time to go, but wow, I hate to put the cart before the horse with either Indiana or the Colts, but can you imagine the craziness that would erupt if the Colts would win the Super Bowl and Indiana could win a national championship?
Well, the way that I have phrased it to people is we can start preparing ourselves for meaningful football for each of these two teams in the month of January. And in terms of the Colts Super Bowl conversation, yes, we can have the conversation. It is the ultimate crapshoot from an injury standpoint. You don't know what injury next week after. The injury roulette wheel comes for everybody at some point in time. And again, it's hit the Colts hard at cornerback, but it hasn't hit the Colts hard on the offensive side of the ball. At some point in time, that luck is bound. Everybody's timeline goes to zero, like I said in Fight Club, and it'll happen to the Colts at some point in time. But what you can start talking about is putting yourself in position to win the AFC South, and the Colts are 2.5 games up. You can talk about putting yourself in position to host, playoff rounds 2 and 3, and potentially get a bye by being the 1 seed. And so that's the conversation we're in right now for the Colts. They're a game clear of the Patriots. They're a game clear of the Broncos, and they own the tiebreaker. They have a chance to own another tiebreaker against the Steelers, who are in the good, not great category that they play next week. So, yes, we can start talking about Super Bowl for the Colts. I really think what that translates to is, hey, first things first, win the AFC South and guarantee your first home playoff games in 2014. Colts are in line to do that. And then it is try to lock up the number 1 seed where you get a weekend off, a week to get healthy. And the Colts have not had the number 1 seed in the AFC since 2009, and that was the last time that they made the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and this was not expected. This chatter, the talk about this was not expected, but that's great. That's a lot of times it makes it more fun when it wasn't expected. It's a surprise. You're like, oh my! With all of this, I mean, with Indiana, those expectations were there. With the Colts, they were not, and the surprise continues to stay there. But it's sure is a fun surprise. And or is Jonathan Taylor really bucking for MVP right now?
Yes, man? Yes, absolutely. And there's not been an NFL MVP as a running back since Adrian Peterson in 2012. But absolutely, he's in the conversation. He is averaging more than 100 yards a game. What he is doing on a weekly basis in terms of multiple touchdowns. You're starting to get into the LaDainian Tomlinson conversation, which was like 20 years ago when he was looking at 25, 26 total touchdowns for a season when he won the MVP in 2006. Or Sean Alexander the year before in 2005. It has largely become a quarterback award. And frankly, the quarterbacks he's going to compete with are going to be Baker Mayfield, are going to be his own teammate in Daniel Jones, other quarterbacks that will come to the fore. But I absolutely think Jonathan Taylor is an MVP candidate because, Jim, he just keeps doing this each and every week.
Oh, absolutely. It is the best we've ever seen him run, and it is everything is just clicking for the Colts on offense. And not only is Jonathan Taylor an MVP candidate, of course, Daniel Jones is his competition because it's been a quarterback's award. And I mentioned earlier how crazy would it be for the Colts to win the Super Bowl, the Hoosiers to win a Natty. We're also looking at the possibility of either JT or Daniel Jones being the MVP of the NFL and Fernando Mendoza to win the Heisman Trophy.
Correct. And I'm not sure. I think I'm a wordsmith. I'm not sure I've got the accurate verbiage to try to describe all of those things lining up and potentially happening in the span of about 5 or 6 weeks. And then if you continue it on, Fernando might be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft, by the time you got to April. Not that any of what you just said needed topped in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So yes, we are officially in bizarro world at this point. We have been down that road before the Colts. It's just been a generation since we have. Clearly, we are in uncharted territory when it comes to Indiana University football.
Oh, no doubt about that. How was the high school world over the weekend for you?
The high school world was a bit mundane, and that was to be expected. Again, this was the weekend without 5A and 6A football. There was one 5A game, Whiteland beating Seymour. But this is the first week is when the big guys get the week off. My game was Chittard in Mooresville, and that kind of went according to Hoyle. 48-14, Chittard wins. Chittard, while not ranked number 1 because they have lost twice to larger competition, I think they have to be the favorite in terms of 4A. Heritage Hills, I think, is really the only school on their side of the bracket, maybe Roncalli, that can kind of hang with Chittard. Chittard has won 17 state championships, but they have all been won at the 3A level or lower. And so this is the first time I think they are a legitimate state championship contender in terms of the 4A realm. And again, a lot of the action gets cranked up this week, but to be honest with you, the way the draw shapes up, this was the year that most sectional favorites got put in opposite halves of the bracket from each other. So we are setting up for some hellaciously good games in the sectional final next week, or even at the 6A level, at the regional level, which would be November the 14th. I think there will be some tremendous matchups then. The game that has my attention statewide would be in 3A in the Evansville area, where Memorial and Gibson Southern will play each other. Memorial went 9-0 against largely 4A and 5A competition. Gibson Southern, their losses have all come the teams from outside of the state of Indiana. That is a state championship level game in 3A coming up this week. To me, that's the headliner game. New Pal Plainfield would be just below that. My game this week will be Lawrence Central and Lawrence North. Always a great rivalry game. And Jim, while LC is 4-5, LN had to score with 2 seconds left to go to beat them in week 1. And LC led the second best team at 6A in Carmel in the fourth quarter a Friday ago. So LC is a more than capable team, coached by former Indiana University linebacker Will Patterson.
Hey, looking forward to all that. And boy, busy times continue for you as the season starts to come down. The tournaments start to wrap up in high school. And but we've still got, 4 or 5 weeks left of college football before it gets going, luckily. But basketball is kind of started as well. So a double duty time now, Greg.
It is, and I tell people my crazy starts pretty much today. Last week was a little more laid back for me. So, Jim, I am on my way from Indianapolis to Lanesville, Lanesville to Evansville, Evansville back to Indianapolis today. So I am doing the old 80s tourism phrase. I am wandering Indiana as we speak.
Yep, Wander, Indiana, baby. Wander, Indiana. Man, I remember those license plates. It goes back to the days. Greg Rakestraw from the ISC Sports Network. Make sure you're giving him a follow and keeping up with all that goes on. Appreciate you, my friend, as always.
Thanks, buddy.
You betcha. Greg Rakestraw joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. We've got lots more coming up. Dustin Dopirak will join us later. Indiana Hoosiers on the basketball court. We'll talk about that as they take on Baylor over the weekend, yesterday, in Indianapolis at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Coming away with a win. Nice to see. Good start. We'll talk more about that when we come back right after these messages.
Know a team or group needing a fundraiser? Boost Fundraising raises more money faster and offers the most unique and user-friendly online fundraiser in the nation. Your team receives personalized fundraising pages for each team member. Free team-branded promo gifts shipped to each donor. Boost Fundraising does it all. Sports teams, marching bands, charity causes, and community groups. Go to boostfundraising.com and be sure to enter the promo code COYLE, that's COYLE, to receive a discounted fundraiser. Whether it's a night out with the family, after work with colleagues, or catching the game with friends, Bubba's 33 is the place for you. Bubba's 33 offers a mouthwatering menu of selections that are all made from scratch every day. The portions are big, but the prices are small. And with over 50 big screen TVs, you'll never miss the big game. Bubba's 33, pizza, burgers, beer.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Huddle up, football fans. Tailgate season is here and nobody gets you ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need, from grills to jerseys and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. With 8 Academy stores across Indiana, including our Bloomington location, fun can't lose and neither can you. Gear up today at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Monday. Glad to have you along. Appreciate you being with us. Indiana knocks off Baylor over the weekend in a gritty win. Quality off resiliency as it responded to the adversity through exhibition win over Baylor. No team in college basketball is a finished product yet, or near truly finding out what its identity is, but the multiple learning experiences that Indiana basketball has had through the preseason has helped this new look group quickly morph into a team built on resiliency. Came from behind to win both of their games in Puerto Rico. And DeVries said, I certainly felt they had a little bit of calmness. I think you could tell some guys have played a lot of basketball, DeVries said after his group is IU's 76-74 win over Baylor. They've been through a little bit. I think even our Puerto Rico games, both games against Mega, where we were down 20 and had to find ways to come back in those games, were good for us as well. So we've had several games here in an exhibition type setting where we've had our guys challenged. But yeah, they come up with a win, which is the most important thing. Let's hear some of what Darren DeVries had to say.
What was it about Baylor that gave you guys a little bit of trouble early in the game? How do you adjust, and how useful is it to have a challenge like that before the games count?
We had talked like as a staff, it's just hard for us in practice to simulate some of that speed and athleticism and playmaking. So we thought this was going to be a great opportunity for us in an exhibition type setting to get to experience that. And I thought the first half you could see, struggle with that at times. And I thought at halftime when they came back out, they kind of readjusted. I thought, we were much more aggressive second half defensively, especially. So I thought they did a nice job of kind of taking what they saw in the first half, changing it and flipping it in the second half.
Mike and then Ravi.
How important is it to get, as a coach, you can't draw these exhibitions up, but have a game situation where, and kind of to see that not just against your own team, running drills, 2-minute drills or something like that, but like how important was that for you to get to see today?
Yeah, it was great for us because there was a stretch in there as the lead was starting to, evaporate a little bit, where it's like we're not trying to run a lot of our stuff, so it's kind of like we just let it go. Like normally we would probably have called a timeout in there, but I wanted to see how they respond, and I thought they did a nice job of that. Same thing with some of the last few minutes. We didn't want to run a lot of our stuff, so we kind of let them just kind of play and play off of one another. So I thought they did a good job there of finding ways to go make plays and execute when they needed to. Baylor hit some shots there to tie that game up. So, but what a great learning opportunity for us to have the game come down the wire. I thought it was really good for us, and we don't play for a while, so got some great tape to go look at.
Ravi and Zach.
Yeah, a number of coaches have said something along the lines of basically like when we put our ones against our twos in practice, our twos don't have the length, athleticism, and all that they will be facing. How much of a piece of that is this exhibitions like this? And can you just sort of take us through what you learn and what guys go through?
Yeah, it's just something we can't simulate in practice. And even with some of the injuries we've had, we've been really shorthanded from a practice standpoint to maybe get some of that out of our practice setting. So this is awesome for us. I would do these games all the time. I think it's great to either be at home or road, have some atmosphere, be in front of fans, and watch how guys respond to different type of situations. So, for us, there was every scenario that could happen today was going to be a good thing for us because it's something that we could learn from. Whether you lose handily, win handily, close game, however it plays out, there was going to be opportunity for us to go back on the practice floor and get some things figured out.
Zach and then Daniel.
I recognize it's kind of a loaded question, but were there moments you talk about, especially down the stretch, just seeing maybe guys how they figure it out for themselves? Were there moments when you felt like you could tell this team had played together a little bit more than it normally would have at this time of year because of the summer practices, because of Puerto Rico?
Yeah, it's hard to tell for sure, but I certainly felt like they had a little bit of calmness. I think you could tell some guys have played a lot of basketball. They've been through it a little bit. I think even our Puerto Rico games, both games against Mega, where we were down 20 and had to find ways to come back in those games, were good for us as well. So we've had several games here in an exhibition type setting where we've had our guys challenged and have to respond to some type of adversity, and that's always a good quality to find ways to come out on top.
Daniel, then Alex.
I want to say you mentioned Rosemont. You were excited about here to learn where you guys were at. Where do you feel like you're at?
I think we're getting better. I think that's the number one thing. I think there's an identity that we have defensively has really come a long ways, and I think you saw that in the second half. I think defensively we have a chance to be really good on first shot opportunities. I think our guys we got some guys that are really committed to it. They understand, they communicate well. The area you saw today that we got to improve the most is the defensive rebounding. We are undersized, so we have to really be technical in hitting people. We can't allow people to just run in there and jump. We're not winning a lot of those jumping contests. So that physicality is going to be important. You know, give up 16 offensive rebounds, but we held them to 29%. You know, if that first shot defense if our first shot defense was good enough to hold them to that, if we had just rebounded better, it could have been a really good second half defensively. So that's where it's at now. Offensively, I really I thought our guys, it took a while for them to kind of get into it a little bit, again, because we're being pretty vanilla in what we're running on offense, which was great for them. So they had to learn how, against people taking some of our stuff away, how do we score? And I thought they made some good adjustments as the game went on with that too.
Going back to Puerto Rico and then this game, I mean, you've had 3 games now where you've had deficits against pretty strong teams and you've responded to that adversity each time. What does that kind of tell you about the guys that you have in this locker room, and is that encouraging for you as a coach to kind of see that every time that's happened so far, you guys have met the challenge? Yeah, I think it's a great quality, you know, and hopefully it continues when it goes in the win-loss column. But it is something that matters. You get 3 opportunities out of 4 that we've had so far where we had to come from behind and figure out a way to make some adjustments and come back to find a way to win. I thought a huge part of the game today was we're down 13 with about 7 minutes to go in the first half, and the game can go a lot of different ways right before halftime. I challenged the guys in a timeout of, don't let this get to 20. You know, this can't be what we just do, you know, all the time. So I thought they did a really good job of fighting back and getting it down to 4 at halftime. And now you've got a much more manageable second half, as opposed to, hey, it's not going well, and letting that thing slide up to 20 for us.
Josh? Obviously it didn't matter today, but you get 2 guys foul out. How do you balance the over-aggressiveness and keeping the foul troubles low?
Yeah, I'd much rather them be aggressive right now this time of year, and then some of it's adjusting to officiating too. You know, we haven't had a lot of officials in practice, and to be quite honest, we don't call much in practice. So, you know, some of that will start to work itself out as we're playing games. But yeah, it's critical. We can't just let people stay in a game from the free throw line, and we can't have guys that we need on the floor sitting over by me. So that is, you know, one of the things that we got to continue to clean up. But I do like the fact that we are being physical, as opposed to, hey, we didn't foul, but we had, you know, no physicality, no toughness to us.
Zion?
Darren, you played Sam for most of the second half, and he came away with 7 rebounds and 3 blocks as well. Just what did you see from him on the interior that really helped your defense out to stop Baylor in that second half?
Yeah, I thought Sam was great second half. Again, we challenged the whole team at halftime about their physicality, their toughness. I thought Sam came out and gave us some great physicality, blocked a couple shots. Thought he was very active in the ball screen coverages. He was covering up for guys, playing both sides of the ball on those ball screens. So I thought that was really good. I just liked his energy and thought you know, he was the guy that kind of got us going a little bit. So that's why we went with him a little bit longer.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
There was Coach Darren DeWitt talking to the media after Indiana's close win over Baylor yesterday at an exhibition game in which they didn't shoot the ball all that well. And that's part of why that game was so close. Indiana down early, 13 points in the first half, because shots weren't falling. They were 2 of 10 from behind the arc and just not getting it to fall down. But they would fight back, much like they did in Puerto Rico. And but overall, I think, what did I see the end was for 3-point shots? Not good. 6 of 24 overall for the game. So not good for a team that is going to rely on the 3-point shot as part of its identity. Indiana shot 25 of 57 total in the ball game. Baylor was 24 of 60. So both teams pretty close there. But I guess not too far off on 3-point shots as well. So as it was a close game, Lamar Wilkerson, as I expected, will be this team's leading scorer, as he was yesterday, with 28 points. Put together a nice bounce back performance after having just 8 in the exhibition against Marion. So, you know, a win's a win. And you're talking about a program like Baylor that is a perennial national competing program. So that's got to be a positive thing. But It is what it is. Dustin Dopirak is going to join us next. We're a few more minutes before the segment ends, so I'll go ahead and bring Dustin in.
Let's do it.
Since you're there and ready to go. Yeah, man, everything is going on right now. We've got college football, the NFL, college basketball about to start. The NBA has started. And nice performance by Indiana, the Pacers the other night. A little shocking that they were able to give that kind of effort without their best player on the floor. We've only got a couple minutes before we break to start the next segment, but I was impressed, Dustin. I really was.
What we talking about the Thunder game? We're 3 in already, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's so much going.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. So I'm in Minnesota. I'm going to be in Dallas tomorrow. And yeah, it's been an interesting, it's been a tough start. Obviously, they were able to push the Thunder to double overtime. Both of those teams were a little bit shorthanded, but I think you saw just the fight and guts in that game and what it's going to be like. Because not only do you have Tyrese Halliburton, who's out, they had TJ McConnell, who was already out. They have Cam Jones, who's already out. Andrew Nembhard went down at halftime. And they managed to hang in there and really make that a ball game. Phenomenal play by both Benedict Mathurin and Pascal Siakam to get it there. And since then, even more people got hurt. Benedict Mathurin got a toe injury, great toe sprain in Saturday night's game against Memphis.
You need a toe? I can get you a toe. I can get you a toe by 3:30 with nail polish.
It's not going to help Ben Mathurin, I don't think. I don't think the toe that Tara Reid loses in that movie is going to serve him any purpose.
Yeah.
I think that was a pinky toe, if I'm not mistaken.
It was a pinky toe with green nail polish.
You're not going to be able to drive off that toe, really, if you rub it in for that first one. And that's what Ben Mathurin needs right now so he's dinged up. Obi Toppin got a hamstring last night. They're up to 8 players who were out. 8. And they took Minnesota to the brink. It helpful, obviously. Then Anthony Edwards also went down with a hamstring injury. So everybody having a great time at the beginning of this NBA season with a whole lot of stuff. A whole lot of guys being dinged up in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, Pacers are keeping it together with duct tape, more or less. They're making Ben Shepherd play point guard, getting minutes out of Ray J. Dennis, who's played 11 NBA games up until this. It's been rough. It's been a lot of
tape. I love it. That sounds like Indiana Sports Beat Radio, just put together with duct tape, baby. We've got speaking of which, we've got a big wrap around it. We've got more coming up. Dustin Dopirak from the Indy Star has joined us. We're back with more after these messages.
If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. When it comes to apparel and promotions, FreeThink has you covered, literally, whether it's 24 or 200 shirts for sports leagues, businesses, or groups. FreeThink Apparel and Promotions can also create your very own merchandising store. FreeThink Apparel and Promotions did it for Indiana Sports Beat Radio, and they can do it for you. Whether it's screen printing, embroidery, digital printing, promotional products, vehicle wraps, or anything else under the promotional line. See what FreeThink Apparel and Promotions can do for you at freethinkapparel.com.
Huddle up, football fans. Tailgate season is here, and nobody gets you ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need, from grills to jerseys and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. With 8 Academy stores across Indiana, including our Bloomington location, fun can't lose, and neither can you. Gear up today at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Whether it's a night out with the family, after work with colleagues, or catching the game with friends, Bubba's 33 is the place for you. Bubba's 33 offers a mouthwatering menu of selections that are all made from scratch every day. The portions are big, but the prices are small. And with over 50 big screen TVs, you'll never miss the big game. Bubba's 33, pizza, burgers, beer.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Monday. Jim Coyle with you as always. Dustin Dopirak from the Indy Star joins us. Indy Star Pacers beat writer for the Pacers as the Pacers have gotten underway and the season is here. But, man, as Dustin alluded to at the end of that last segment, they come in already kind of beat up a little bit with Tyrese Halliburton expected to be lost for the season. And now you get a few more dings, which you're going to get, and you know that. So depth is going to be a very, very important word for the Pacers this season.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been their strength the last couple of years, and it's just been attacked. I mean, and not, last year you're talking about having probably the best collection of point guards in the league, and they're all out. Halliburton's out, Andrew Nembhard's out, TJ McConnell's out. And so you're throwing guys in there that haven't had to play the position. Ben Shepherd hasn't played point guard since he was at Belmont. Ray J. Dennis has played the position, but Ray J. Dennis is a guy that probably not even a lot of Pacers fans know because he's, one of their two-way contract guys. Like I said, I think he played 70 minutes last year somewhere. So, I mean, you got to be a diehard to know who he is. I mean, he played a year at Baylor. I think before that he was at Toledo and played a couple seasons at Boise State to start his career. I mean, he's a nice player. I mean, he's a solid looking point guard, and especially he's a nice player at the G League level at this point. But he's stepped in and he's been asked to do a lot. He played 27 minutes last night, which is the second most I think he's ever played in his career in an NBA game. So a lot's been thrown at those guys, and you're taking a lot out of people. Benedict Mathurin had a fantastic start. Had, I think, 36 points the first night, had 26 points in the third, played through the toe injury for most of the third quarter, and they took him back and evaluated him, and he's out. And so, not sure how long that's going to be. Apparently he's going to get imaging tested done. They, basically MRI to be, I guess, fancy about it in Dallas. And so, yeah, I'm trying to think who else is even out. Cam Jones hasn't played at all. Johnny Furphy's out. He's had certainly a promising camp. And so, yeah, it's all basically just coming down on their heads really, really fast. So basically out of 18 guys, when you're talking the 15 standard contracts and 3 two-ways, they've already got, yesterday they had 8 guys out. I mean, they could get maybe Furphy back. Don't know how long Obi Toppin's thing is going to be. Rick's been pretty cagey, I guess, about saying how long any of these injuries are going to go for. We know TJ McConnell's out until at least November 9th, and Cam Jones is out until at least November 9th. Everybody else, no idea. So it's, just a lot of stuff coming down on their heads really fast. You knew with Halliburton out that they could not afford a lot of injuries, and they've got a lot of injuries right out of the gate, and so they're 0-3.
That's a long list of injuries. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at it, and I'm like, holy cow. That looks that's bigger than Indiana football's injury list. And it's not a joke. I mean, that's a deep list, man, and some big names on there.
Yeah, it's by percentage to be like having 30 football players out.
I mean, and these are big names too. I mean, TJ McConnell, of course. Well, I mean, you start with Halliburton.
Yeah, it's rotation.
And McConnell and all the. It's like, wow, you're dipping deep into the roster.
Yeah, no, and the fact that it's so, they have 4 centers and none of those guys have been touched, and they don't have a real sense of where they want to do at that position yet. And so instead of taking away guys where you have excess, they're taking away guys that are, again, mission critical. Again, 3 last season, so much of their strength was they had 3 point guards that they could trust, and they could put 2 of them on the floor at any point in time. That's a big reason why the offense works as well as it does. And to lose all 3 of them out of the gate is just an absolute killer. Again, Nembhard and McConnell are going to be back. It's not going to be, again, McConnell's looking at November 9th. Don't know about Nembhard yet. It's a shoulder strain. I mean, I don't think it's a dislocation or anything like that. And he is on this trip. So, I don't think it's impossible that he could be available by Wednesday when they play Dallas. But, just all of that at once. I mean, you're talking about, it's like losing 3 quarterbacks, and so it's just like, okay, like you're calling on guys that never expected to play. And, at least to play that position, expecting to handle it. And so, Yeah, it's been rough. I mean, I was impressed just how much better they got from Saturday night to Sunday night. I mean, you're talking about, a back-to-back on the road. They don't practice in between, games and a back-to-back on the road. I mean, they had like a half an hour, 45-minute meeting, in a ballroom or something like that in Minnesota yesterday, and still were substantially better coordinated over the course of, just one game, to another. Pascal Siakam was a big part of that. He went for 33 points, 8 assists, 10 rebounds last night. And when you can rely on a guy like that who can handle the basketball at 6'8" with a 7'3" wingspan, that obviously helps your case a whole lot. But still, it's a rough situation in the NBA to not have a seasoned point guard when you're used to having multiple seasoned point guards.
Especially a team that's coming off of an NBA Finals appearance. It's something they're going to have to fight through quickly, because although there was not great expectations for this season because you lose your top player, but
you still got to play 82 games.
Exactly.
Whether you have expectations or not, you still have to run it out there 82 times, and it's a lot. And I think that's, it's really easy to look from the outside and say, well, they should just tank. They should just, go for a first-round pick. That's the strategic move in that case. You got to run a bunch of guys out there that are used to winning, and
and who want to win, who are competitors.
Yeah, and I don't think the thing about it is, and I think you saw this last night. Like they're too used to it to ask them to not. And so now, tanks can just happen. When you lose that many guys and you're trying to run a team out there in the NBA, there's too much talent basically for you to be able to win games if you don't have anybody over the stretch of time. That's going to get you. You're not going to be able to run a team that's missing 8 players and win 40, 50 games. It just doesn't happen. But you're talking about this is the first month of the season. They're not going to just say, okay, well, we're out these guys until mid-November. Let's just, punt the whole thing. That's not how it's going to go. Obviously, over the course of time, it could happen if these injuries linger and stick around. But they're not going to run it out like that. So they are going to try to win, and they are going to exhaust themselves. And they are going to, kind of lay it out on the line, and it's going to be rough because, again, these guys are used to winning, and it takes a toll mentally when you have a group of guys that has done everything that they've had to do to get to where they are, and all of a sudden you just have so much of their legs taken out. They will not ask me to play in Dallas. I promise. Rick will play himself before he calls me. I promise. So,
well, it's a great relationship there. So.
Do we? I don't know. We get along okay. Rick's been fine. He's just an interesting cat.
Hey, but I do love the ability that writers can, the relationships they can form with either players or coaches at the pro level, at least in the NBA. That's where that's not really the case. Say in college football, you get to talk to no one except for the head coach, and they'll make some players available after the game, and then once a week. In a controlled environment, but it's still not the same. You can really have conversations with guys. You get to really talk to the players, especially, and that's the greatest thing and the coolest thing for you being able to do your job. Dustin Dopirak, the Indy Star Pacers beat writer, with us right now, but that's got to be the best part of your job.
It has been. It's definitely been a lot of fun. I think, and there's a reason why college is what like it is. There's they're young kids. Obviously these sports information departments are really challenged to kind of protect these guys. I don't know. Certainly, you could tell me more about how it's changed in the NIL era when these guys are certainly a little bit more exposed and are looking for more exposure and trying to get their story told a little bit more. There's wisdom certainly as. We've got to know SIDs pretty well. So, and we have a sense of why they do their jobs the way they do their jobs. And it makes sense to protect the brand because, you're running out 18 to 22-year-old kids. You don't want them saying anything stupid. You don't want them to be overly exposed. You don't want them talking too much about, you want them talking about their life, but only so much about it because, they're college kids. They're running around making mistakes. That's what you do. And it's different when, they're grown adults and they're making millions and millions of dollars. And so they are trying to push their brand out there. And it's, it's also, it's the investment as far as, what the paper's investing, obviously, certainly what the team is investing. We're talking about 82 games 41 games on the road here. And so, they have, requirements in their CBA, the locker room's open in pregame. And I might go in there and not ask a single question in pregame, but just sit around and talk. And, the Vanderbilt game's on, and Aaron Neesmith's a Vanderbilt grad, and we're talking about them, having a shot at beating, obviously beating Missouri the other day. And so you get to form relationships in a way that you don't in college, and there's no reason why you don't get to do it. But it is definitely nice. I've definitely enjoyed, the experience a whole lot to get to dig deep into personalities. I mean, it's really me and Tony East that are really covering this team on a daily basis. And so each of us really get to know these guys, and they get to know us. And so it's again, much harder to do that in college. I understand why it doesn't make sense for college PR departments to go that way where it does in the NBA and the NFL and Major League Baseball and all those sports. But it's fertile for being a writer. It's really cool, to watch part of the Tyrese Halliburton Netflix. It was part of that Netflix documentary Starting Five that came out, last week. And you see a lot of stuff that you've seen. It's not entirely, some of that stuff is obviously behind the scenes. I don't get to go to Tyrese's house, but you get a sense. I already kind of know who this guy is.
You mean you're not invited for the Christmas party?
I am not invited for the Christmas party. Tyrese and I get along, but I don't get those invites, and I shouldn't. So that's good.
Well, here's some good advice. Don't play poker with them.
Yeah. I wouldn't, even if this FBI thing didn't happen.
How about, how crazy is that? The first thing when I saw that,
it doesn't surprise anybody who covers the. I mean, it surprises everybody when it gets deep. I mean, you don't expect to see the five families come back into the discussion.
The five families. I didn't expect to hear that today.
4 of the 5 families, I think, were involved. But no, I think. You
gonna make him
see a lot of the ingredients for
can't
this.
refuse.
Yes, exactly. Those are the type of guys you don't want to get involved with. And yeah, I mean, basically, these are hyper competitive people. They like to gamble, and so it's a question of, all right, how deep are you willing to go? And it's I think someone's pointed out, and this is correct, that the fact that it is so widespread legal now makes it easier to track when things are going sideways. When something's amiss, rather than when everything is illegal. It's harder to kind of see what sort of rises to the level of being a racket. In this case, it's easier to find what's out of bounds when a lot of stuff is actually in bounds now. But all the same, on the flip side of it, because it is now so accessible and easy to do, gambling across the board, whatever type of gambling you're talking about. There's a drive to get people involved in it, and these guys are hyper competitive, so they like to bet on stuff. They bet on.
We can go back to Michael Jordan and
exactly.
Charles Barkley. We know that they hundreds of thousands of dollars that these guys bet all the time. So It's not,
they have money and they're competitive. And so like when you have money and competitive, you like to bet, it's you bet on your, sometimes it's bet on yourself. It's like, I'm gonna make this shot in practice. Who was gonna bet me 10 grand? I'm gonna make it. You know what I mean? Like they just, I'm not saying these guys in particular, but like it's that.
And I don't care what they do with their money. It's their money to, I mean, it's crazy that they have that kind of money. We're talking just stupid money to begin with,
but you don't want it. You don't want it affecting the integrity of the game. That's,
no, absolutely.
And so when you get into these prop bets, and the money gets big, and all of a sudden you don't have to do a whole lot to make somebody some money. That's how John Porter, allegedly became involved in this in the first place. I mean, if you're a low level player and you're not going to get on the floor, all you got to do is give somebody inside information before it hits that you're not going to be available. And, you can collect money on that. Like when you're talking about, it's just the line, like if you're the 10th, 11th, 12th guy on the team, like whether you're in or out doesn't affect the line that much. But if you can bet on how much the 11th or 12th player plays, like that changes the game. There's stuff that's out there to be manipulated. That didn't used to matter, like that it was, you couldn't get somebody to tell you to bet on how many minutes Jonte Porter played, like no book was going to take that, But
and
now
that's the problem right now. These guys still, I think because this type of betting that you're talking about just became big like 2 years ago, about 2 years ago, or a little bit before that.
Maybe 4, maybe 5. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then people started thinking, oh, well, we can do this and do that. They didn't realize how good they are at catching people.
Sure.
How it takes them a while, but when you don't get caught, you think, oh, I'm in this is great. This is easy. Well,
Right.
but you're being watched and they don't realize it. It takes them a while to catch up, but they will catch you. They have shown how good they really are at ferreting out this stuff. And every time it's like, dude, why do you do that? But we're talking about two different things here. The poker games were separate from the things that people can manipulation.
Sure.
I could care less about the poker games, to be honest with you. I mean, that's
your problem. Yeah, exactly. If you're getting involved in that, that's your problem. But
yeah,
it's still of a piece that you're seeing, like, and I think a
head coach should not be involved in it. That's the
Sean
biggest
you
issue.
don't need to be doing that, obviously, allegedly, in the whole bit. But you don't need that involvement. I mean, I think Damon Jones' allegations are that he was involved in both, if I'm not mistaken. And so the thing about it is, like, eventually you cross streams. You start getting involved in both. It's card games, it's this, it's that, it's whatever. And I think because I haven't read into this too deep yet, but I think it was Damon Jones that had a big enough gambling debt that they started hitting him up over the other stuff, and that's when you get a problem. That's when that sort of stuff is when you're manipulable in the first place. Is when you pile up debts and then you can't pay them, and then they need something else from you. That's how an extortion racket works. So, like,
hey, we need you to do the family of, do the family a favor, we're gonna make life easy for you.
Yeah, no, that's what it is. It's you get yourself in trouble when you owe somebody, and once you owe somebody, they're not asking for stuff that's easy to do. They're not asking for you to cut their grass. Like it's stuff that will get you in trouble. That's how that's how you put yourself in a bind. Is it's a card game, and then it's sports, and then you're at.
It's nothing big, man. Hey, you're just gonna miss a couple of layups, man. No big deal, man. You think you're wide open.
Hardcore anti-Italian stereotyping going on right here, Jim. Yeah, no, that's what we're talking about. That's how you get down a rabbit hole. And so, this stuff is easily affected. And yeah, it is, they are, again, hyper competitive people that can easily get in trouble, can easily start getting involved in this stuff. And yeah, it's wild because, certainly almost anybody that's in sports media right now is in some way, shape or form, has a revenue stream connected to what we're doing. I don't know if Gannett has, his FanDuel ads or whatever, we probably do. I don't know, it's certainly on TV and everything like that. And a lot of people are benefiting financially from this, from making this stuff legal. And again, there's some value on making it legal towards figuring out what's illegal. But all the same, like when this stuff gets going, it can be an addiction. It can get there fast. There's a reason why they have to run those ads. And so, that's sort of stuff like that's the rabbit hole, that you can go down.
Yeah, you like those? You got some good-looking kneecaps. Hey, man, they look good going up there.
Something happened to them. Yeah.
Hey, be ashamed for something to happen to those kneecaps. Jimmy Late Show. Where'd it go? Jimmy Late Show.
Yeah.
5 left. Jimmy Late Show. Hey, Jimmy Late Show's on.
My favorite guy in the indictment is Albanian Bruce, whose real name is Osman, and I would love to know why his name is Albanian Bruce. It's like, does he look like Springsteen?
Oh man, I love the names. The names are the best part.
Yeah,
I wish we could get him out here. Dustin Dopirak, speaking of great names, with us from the Indy Star. We've got lots more coming up here at Indiana Sports Beat Radio. And Dustin's got to go. Thank you, Bert. I appreciate you as always. Enjoy it, and we'll talk to you later. Dustin Dopirak joining us from Minnesota, as the Pacers about to take on the Minnesotans. We've got more coming up. We're back with it from the ISB studios right after these messages.
The ISC Sports Network is your home for sports content across the Hoosier State. Find us live on TV and streaming or archived on our website and our app. The ISC is your one-stop shop for the content you want to see, including high school sports, college sports, and other great events throughout the year. Subscribe to our streaming service and get access to it all. ISC. Local lives here.
Know a team or group needing a fundraiser? Boost Fundraising raises more money faster and offers the most unique and user-friendly online fundraiser in the nation. Your team receives personalized fundraising pages for each team member. Free team-branded promo gifts shipped to each donor. Boost Fundraising does it all. Sports teams, marching bands, charity causes, and community groups. Go to boostfundraising.com and be sure to enter the promo code COYLE, that's C-O-Y-L-E, to receive a discounted fundraiser. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. When it comes to apparel and promotions, Freethink has you covered, literally, whether it's 24 or 200 shirts for sports leagues, businesses, or groups. Freethink Apparel and Promotions can also create your very own merchandising store. Freethink Apparel and Promotions did it for Indiana Sports Beat Radio, and they can do it for you. Whether it's screen printing, embroidery, digital printing, promotional products, vehicle wraps, or anything else under the promotional line. See what Freethink Apparel and Promotions can do for you at freethinkapparel.com. Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Monday. Recapping a fun weekend. It was a fun weekend of sports, eh? Lots of stuff going on. Football, basketball, the whole deal. College football, of course, though, is the main entree as we're getting closer towards the end of the season. But I'm just shocked. Well, I should not say I'm shocked. Shock's got to go out. You have to accept this is the new age of college football. Now, I didn't think that Brian Kelly no longer has to worry about his family. Yeah, he doesn't have to worry any longer about
12 years of my life, for me and my family, being here at Notre Dame.
It's a great night to be a Tiger. I'm here with my family, and we are so excited to be in the great state of Louisiana.
Well, he won't be in the great state of Louisiana much longer. Fired by LSU, athletic director Scott Woodard announced last night, minutes after the players were informed of the decision during a team meeting. Talks regarding the terms of his departure are continuing. The school said in a statement Kelly is owed just more than $54 million in buyout money. Kelly left the office early Sunday afternoon and did not return. Sources told ESPN the Tigers are on a bye week, so attendance of some staff was optional. We had high hopes that he would lead us to multiple SEC and national championships during his time in Baton Rouge, Woodard said in the announcement, which came a day after the Tigers' 49-25 loss at home to Texas A&M. But Texas A&M is the number 3 team in the country. So I would not. I knew that it was coming with that loss because they were already. He was on the hot seat. But I just think that Brian Kelly was a bad fit for LSU. Period. But these teams. This is the Kurt Cignetti effect, people. And I'm not kidding. This is the Curt Cignetti effect. Everybody wants they see Indiana and they shake their head. And I get it. But you have to stop looking at college football as what it was 5, 10, 20 years ago. 30, doesn't matter how long you go back. That's not it anymore. It's a different game, and you can be successful. But Indiana is not being successful because they're buying the biggest players. They don't have Ohio State money. They don't have LSU money. I guarantee you LSU's payroll is much higher than Indiana's. That's the issue. You have to get the right coach. And I think the way to coach, even the way to coach in college football has changed. Just having the top athletes doesn't do it. You have to have a great program. And I think Curt Cignetti, as of right now, has the top football program in the country with Mike Shanahan and Brian Haynes beside him, and then all the other assistants. What a great staff that he has. And that has been a large part of Curt's success. Not that he is not, he leads it. It starts at the top. Don't get me wrong. The way he runs his program, everything, there's a reason for everything. No detail left unattended to. And schools are looking and seeing Indiana getting all this attention, Indiana having all of this success. And they want that because they've had that before. But that was back in a different day. So now what do we got? Florida, LSU, Penn State. I don't even know who there are many others. I think Luke Fickell goes, but I like at least that Wisconsin is waiting. Now, I don't know if that means that possibly they're going to give him another chance, because when you have all these openings, who the hell's going to fill all these spots? Who are you going to get? Where are you going to go? But also look at what Indiana did. They didn't go after some hot name. They definitely didn't hire from within, from a losing program. They went and found a guy to do this job at the G5 level. And as many bad hires as Indiana has made, and they have been many, they have hit home runs. They hit a grand slam home run with Curt Cignetti. And I think they hit a home run with Darren DeWitt. That story is yet to be told. But I think that he is going to work out just fine. I think he's very similar but different to Curt Cignetti. Jamie doesn't think that Fickell goes this season, at least talking to his whiskey alumni that he knows. For whatever reason, that wouldn't surprise me, mainly because who are they going to get? I mean, there's going to be so many openings. Now you've got to find guys that know what they're doing. Here's the thing. North Carolina is a great example of ignorant hiring. They hired a guy who had zero intelligence or knowledge about how to coach in college, how to run a college program. And He didn't even bring in a guy that had experience in college. He brought in a GM that was trying to run that program like the NFL. Well, that's not working too well. And it just seems like, well, I don't know that he has any urgency, but why would he? He's got a guaranteed $30 million coming, $10 million a year. I think he has a 5-year contract, but 3 years of it's guaranteed. Why would he care? He already has all the money in the world. Now he's got another guaranteed $30 million. Fire him or not. Would Urban Meyer come back to coaching? I don't think so. But in an era where the dollar has never been higher, maybe so. Would he go to a place like Penn State? Florida is open again. Obviously. There were some major programs with openings. Yeah, John Gruden would love more than anything. But I just don't know that these NFL guys would succeed, although college football is a hell of a lot closer to the NFL today than it's ever been. That's for certain. But they would have to be given a deep education on NIL, on rev share, the transfer portal. So there's that. No, Russell asking, would Notre Dame hire Kelly back if Marcus Freeman can't get Notre Dame? Notre Dame, first of all, is not going to fire Marcus Freeman. The only way that job would be open is if Marcus Freeman left to go elsewhere. Now, why he would do that, I don't know, because I think Notre Dame has an easy path to the CFP each year. They just have to take care of business. They have it, and they might be able to sneak in yet again this year. See, Brian says Notre Dame is currently in the CFP if it started today. So he's not going anywhere. He's not leaving. And why would he? I don't know what he's paid there, but I'm sure he's taken care of. But I'm just wondering who's going to fill all these big-time open spots. Third consecutive Sunday in October, a major college football coaching job has opened. And LSU is the biggest of them all. It's a crazy, Tiger Stadium viewed as the biggest environment in college football. He should have stayed at Notre Dame. That was a bad move, I think. Who were candidates for the job? Lane Kiffin. I don't see Lane Kiffin at Notre Dame. Lane Kiffin's a little bit too much of a wild card for a stiffer Notre Dame. John Summerall from Tulane. Marcus Freeman from Notre Dame. Yeah, I don't see that. This is for LSU. Georgia Tech coach Brett Key. Missouri coach Elijah Drinkwitz. Hey, he might be a serious. After Kiffin, Drinkwitz could be the top SC coaching candidate. who would look to move within the conference. He has led Missouri since 2020, building a consistent, respected program that is 27-7 since the start of the 24 season, including a number 8 finish and a Cotton Bowl title in 2023. Yeah, he's a solid candidate there, man. An Arkansas native, came up under Gus Malzahn, worked at Auburn early in his coaching career. Yeah, he's definitely one to look at. Absolutely. But you've got so many other. Penn State. Who's gonna fill the Penn State job? The Florida. A lot of people are thinking Lane Kiffin to Florida, which I think that this is the time that Lane Kiffin moves. There are too many big-time open programs right now. And I could see Lane Kiffin going to LSU. LSU is a wild place. Lane Kiffin's a wild card. He is a winner. And I could definitely see that happening. But I definitely think that Lane Kiffin is going to be on the move this year. He's been at Ole Miss for a while, and I think maybe he feels he's topped off down there, although they're doing very well right now, deep into the college football playoffs. They are going to be a team to look at that possibly wins the SEC, or at least plays for the SEC championship. So not only do we have fun to watch and see who's going to make the CFP, who's going to get the buys, who's going where, now this coaching carousel has become unbelievably interesting to watch. So, man, what a bunch we have to do. Hey, we've got to take a quick break. We've got lots more coming up here on the Sports Beat Radio.
Andy Moore Honda is Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer for a reason. Buy a new Honda and get a 3-month break from car payments. That's right, no payments for 90 days. That includes the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue, and you get it for just 0.9% financing. Or the 2024 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition or the Honda Accord LX, both for just 1.9% financing. Get more to your door from AndyMooreHonda.com, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer and your best place for new and used vehicles. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemooreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Huddle up, football fans. Tailgate season is here, and nobody gets you ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need, from grills to jerseys and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. With 8 Academy stores across Indiana, including our Bloomington location, fun can't lose, and neither can you. Gear up today at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage, and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Monday, getting your week started. I hope you had a great weekend, enjoyed all the things that were going on. Colts win, Hoosiers win. Purdue went down to Kentucky in an exhibition game and lost, which I'm not surprised at. I've got to tell you, I'm not impressed by this Purdue team that everybody thinks is the best team in the country. I think they're going to be a solid team. Don't get me wrong. I think they're a very good team. Don't get me wrong. But I do not think that they are just this juggernaut that everyone thinks they are. I think they are so susceptible in so many ways. Braden Smith is a solid college basketball player, but I think he can be shut down so easily by an athletic, lengthy guard. Will shut him down. And but hey, what do I know? But the final 82, that can't be right. Did they lose 82-52? Really? Was that the final score? Holy crap. Wow. Yeah, that was it. No, that was what is that women's basketball? Oh, that was an old score. Never mind. I'm sorry. I don't know why that came up. But anyway, exhibition games don't count. We know what happened last year when Indiana beat Tennessee. So you've got to take some off of what that brings. But 78-65 was the actual score. But and you're playing, I think, in Rupp Arena, so that hurts. That's going to make life difficult. But I just don't. I'm just not seeing it personally. I've already said I think Michigan is going to be the team in the Big Ten this year, and we'll find out. I mean, those are good tests. That's what they're for. But Kentucky used its length and speed to blow by Purdue in a half court. And that's exactly what Purdue's downfall is going to be. They're just not that good at guard. I'm sorry. I know everybody loves Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer because they've been there forever, but they're really good college players, or at least Braden Smith is. But I think he doesn't have the help, is not going to have the help to do what he needs to do. But he had 11 points. Lawyer actually had 14 in the game. Trey Kaufman-Renn with 19. So it's going to be interesting, but that's why they play the games. Purdue with a ton of experience, man. Tons of experience. So that bodes well as well. So we'll see how it turns out. Yeah, they'll bounce back though. They'll use that game and they'll bounce back from it. Curt Cignetti met with the media, of course, after Indiana's win over UCLA. Let's hear what Mr. Sig had to say.
Good things, create turnovers, third down, stopped them on defense, converted on offense. And, it was on a big platform against a team that was hot. And we wanted to be physical and dominate the line of scrimmage. I thought we did early in the game, and Fischer's play early in the game is a huge play. So with that, I'll open it up to questions.
On your left is that.
Hey, Kurt, you talked about the line of scrimmage, in particular with the defense, the interior guys. You talked to him before the season about having to replace all the production and experience you guys had there. That was maybe one of your question marks. You've obviously stepped up the growth, success, development. What do you kind of attribute that to with those guys like Tyreek and Mario of that group?
Well, I think a big part of, running a football program is development. And you do that through your strength and conditioning program and the way you coach, the way you practice, and schematically. And I think Pat Kuntz does a great job with those inside guys. I think he's a terrific defensive line coach. He focuses on the inside guys and Buddha focuses on the outside guys, but we run so many different packages. Sometimes the inside guys are outside guys and the outside guys are inside guys. So they meet together and they do a lot of different things together. And it's a blue-collar group that's gotten better every week.
Kurt, kind of a double-barrel question. First of all, how's Aiden Fischer? And kind of secondly, Isaiah Jones steps into, I would imagine, not just more snaps, but more responsibility when Fisher's not on the field. Just how did you see him kind of grow into that today?
Yeah, well, Isaiah Jones has really taken a big step this year. And we've talked about that quite a bit in the past and making a lot of plays. Fischer made a huge play early in the game, and, we took him out kind of precautionary, but, we'll do the x-rays, the MRIs, and see what those say.
Matt, good luck and sing.
Coach, you guys ran for, I think, 260-something yards. Felt like as you got in the second, third quarter, really imposed your will on them. Backs really ran hard, broke some tackles. I think he had 150 yards in those 2 quarters. Just your thoughts on the O-line and the job of the running backs today.
Yeah, our backs run hard all the time. They really do, him being black. And, when you start to see them wave the white flag, so to speak, and break their will, it takes a while. It usually happens sometimes in the third quarter, and that may have been what happened here. Then Martin came in, made some good runs. It's great credit to the offensive line and tight ends also. So, it's good to see those rushing totals back up again.
Same man, you're left and right.
Coach, on both sides of the ball, you guys were really good on the money downs on 3rd and 4th down. What do you attribute to it on offense, and then on the flip side on defense?
Well, preparation. It's good preparation and execution. But, to me, it's all the same. It starts up front. You got to win the line of scrimmage. You got to put heat on the quarterback on defense. You got to protect the quarterback on offense. You got to separate, throw and catch on offense, and tight coverage on defense. And if the quarterback doesn't have as much time to throw, he's not as effective, and you got to hit him. So I think Bryant Haynes is difficult to prepare against. Does a lot of different stuff. I thought UCLA's guy was difficult to prepare against. And I don't think we separated extremely well against press coverage today. Now we had some extended plays in the pass game. But the credit all goes to the assistants and the players. Yeah.
Yeah, Coach, your thoughts on how dominant your defense has been all season. I think it's 6 offensive touchdowns allowed in 8 games. Just your thoughts on how well they've played and how many different guys have made impact plays.
Yeah. How many touchdowns on the year?
I believe it's 6 offensive.
Yeah, and we played 8 games. Not bad. Yeah. That's pretty good. Bryant does a great job. The kids respond. They have a lot of pride. We got some DBs back there that have really good ball skills too, like the safeties. As much as I like to get on them about being late to get lined up and stuff like that, they got really good ball skills. And they've made a lot of really nice interceptions. Our linebackers do too. And we do a good job of stopping the run. Philosophically, that's where it all begins. Stopping the run, TFLs, and pressuring the quarterback. So, as I look at who we've played, you look at Oregon, they're a premier offense, right? And we had a dominant second half in that game, and we didn't really start very well against Michigan State, right, after that dominant performance. We probably felt pretty good about ourselves. I was worried about that with the offense today a little bit. But, got to keep it going. Got to keep them healthy and keep it going.
Kurt Cignetti there with part of his presser from at the post game after knocking off UCLA. I love how sometimes he will ask a reporter to repeat things that he knows what the answer is to. How many touchdowns have we given up? Yeah, 6 in the game. Yeah, that's not bad for he knows. He knows. He likes hearing it. But it's worth hearing. But it's kind of funny. But I will say this, to my knowledge, Indiana has not allowed a second half touchdown since Old Dominion, which means they have not allowed a second half touchdown in Big Ten play through 5 games. Pretty good. Especially when you add the fact that they played Oregon, Iowa, Illinois. Yeah, not bad at all as the season continues now. And Indiana storming to the top, storming to a Big Ten title game. Still has 4 games to play. You only have 1 home game left, by the way, Indiana fans. Of the 4 remaining games for the Hoosiers, Only the Wisconsin game on November 15th will take place at Memorial Stadium as they'll travel to Maryland this weekend to take on the Turtle, the Terrapins. That is followed by the much anticipated game in Happy Valley against Penn State. Then Wisconsin will come to Bloomington. Then the Hoosiers have a bye, and then they will travel to Purdue. Now, while the bye week prior to Oregon was fantastic, I wonder what the bye week prior to Purdue will be like, because while you have a bye week before you play your rival, which is really down, I hope that they can still maintain that level of the ferocity that they need to play, that you need to play, period. I'm not saying that because of any thoughts of things going awry in West Lafayette. It's just they're going to have a lot of time off. You're going to have the week off before the Purdue game. Now, let's see. Then immediately it goes into the Big Ten title game at least. But then they will have probably 3 weeks off after that game before they play again, which I'm anticipating they'll get a bye. Win or lose in the Big Ten title game, I think Indiana gets a bye. I don't think that even if they were to lose the Big Ten title game, that they would drop out of the top 4. They may not drop out of the top 2, to be honest with you. Or they could end up number 1. Yeah, I said it. Indiana could end up number 1, AP number 1. If they were to win that game, they would be. They'd be AP number 1. They'd be number 1 with the buys. So it's all coming to a head, but you got about 5 weeks. The next 6 weeks are you've got 6 more weeks of incredibleness, with Indiana taking on Maryland this week, then Penn State, as I said, and a Big Ten championship game most likely in there. It would take something catastrophic for that not to happen. So 5 games over the next 7 weeks. No, 6 weeks. 5 games over the next 6 weeks for Indiana that are going to be of the greatest importance. Of the greatest importance. Because they've got to keep it going. They've got to keep the mental focus that they have right now, because they're heading into uncharted waters, not just by Indiana, but by many teams of their ilk. How many teams like Indiana has been able to do what they're about to do? Wow, crazy. Big thanks to everybody today. Don Fischer, Greg Rakestraw, Dustin Dopirak, most importantly, each and every one of you. Without you, we have no reason to be here, and we love it. Back tomorrow to do it again. Mike DeCourcy will join us. We'll see what else we can get scared up. Kurt Signetti's presser happens again later today, so we'll have that action for you as well. I'll be heading straight out there as soon as we finish the show. But appreciate you. Go out, have yourselves a great day. I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.